Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, real estate fans, avid listeners alike, and wonderful people on your way to church this beautiful Sunday morning. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name's Erik Hatch, your host for Real Estate Radio. I am a realtor with Hatch Realty, and if you ever want to stop by and see us, we would love for you to do so. 1205 16th Avenue South is how you find us. Really conveniently located, just kitty corner from Dwayne's House of Pizza and up a block. So if you're buying a deliciously large pizza that you can have as a single serving, at least I do, it's how I keep my curves, go to Dwayne's, get a delicious pizza, and then come and buy or sell a house with us. The perfect combination. Hey, at the top of the hour, I want to let you know that we're seeing a change in the market. I've talked emphatically over the last probably couple of years that we continue to be a seller's market, that supply does not meet demand. The demand is much, much higher, and we're still in that state. So this is not a radical change, but rather a tweak in the way in which I perceive the market right now. There is a proverbial slowdown. It happened last June as well, and so I'm waiting to see if it's an odd thing with June or if it's going to be our new normal. What I'm seeing now is that supply and demand, at least for the last couple of weeks, are pretty balanced. And for us to get to a balanced market is actually a healthier thing for us as a real estate community. Buyers aren't quite going to have to overpay. Sellers maybe aren't going to get as much money as they wanted, but those people who are moving up or moving down will equal out their savings in the end. But what we've seen is that interest rates have been ticking up oh so slightly, and now all of a sudden they're about a half a point or a half a percent higher than maybe where they were 60 days ago. And that's changing the market. Some people who could qualify previously no longer can, but people who have the cash, they're going to have maybe an easier time finding a house that's out there instead of having to compete. And I still think you maybe have to compete, but it's not going to be against 10 people. Maybe it's going to be against 2 or 3. Each house is unique, and for us to find out your home value, we need to talk, and I'd love to get in conversation with you. 369-4839, or you can always connect with us on our website at livefargomoorhead.com. But first things first, let's find out what's happening with real estate news this week. In studio with us this morning, and oh so handsome and debonair, is the wonderful Mr. Brent Giddings of B Giddings Services. So good morning, Brent.
Good morning, Erik.
Is that an awkward introduction for you?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, yeah, it is.
Well, fair enough. Brent, you and I have had the wonderful joy. We grew up together. We were were you in church choir? I forget.
When I was very little, but we were high school sweethearts.
Yeah, well, high school. It was romantic to say the least. No, Brent, we've known each other for a long time. Started at church, and then we went to middle school and high school together.
Yeah.
And since then, we've gone in different directions. I sell real estate, and you do everything to support real estate. Is that right?
Yeah, you could say that as far as fix up and maintenance and all that kind of stuff.
Perfect. So what is it exactly that you do with B Giddings Services?
I do a lot of interior painting and bathtub resurfacing.
An odd combination. How does one get into bathroom resurfacing of not toilets necessarily, but of course bathtubs and maybe sinks if need be?
Yeah, well, I flipped houses for 8 years, and I always hired it out. And one day the light bulb went off in my head, and I said, well, I can do this. And I learned how to do it. I got training on how to do it. And I've been plugging away at it for 4 years now. And
there's not many people in the area who do bathtub resurfacing, correct?
No, there isn't.
So who would be your ideal client? Who's going to be the person that will call you up and say, Brent, I want you to resurface my bathtub? Because it's usually a forgotten about thing.
Who's my ideal candidate?
Yeah.
Anybody who has that tub that maybe is an ugly color, or just maybe it is white but you just can't keep it clean because it's been cleaned too hard for too long.
That's not the case with things in my house, Brent. It's not that I've scrubbed and dubbed and made sure that everything is super clean. But we're talking about people who maybe want to do a bathroom remodel, and they've been that's the eyesore in the bathroom, right? And so you can go in and you resurface the bathtub. What's the process with that?
Well, depending on what surface we're working on, whether it's fiberglass or pressed steel or whatever, they're all a little bit different. But the general idea is to get it cleaned, and then you have to prep the surface. And prepping the surface is different depending on what surface we're working on. But then we prime it and then we paint it. So
can I do this myself? Can I go to Home Depot or Menards, buy a kit, and do this myself?
You could. you're probably going to call me in about a month and tell me that it's all peeling off.
Yeah, and I'd actually use that as a transition because number one is it's not expensive to have your bathtub resurfaced, but to actually tear out a bathtub, put in a new bathtub, could cost you thousands and you're a few $100, right?
To do just your basic bathtub is $350.
That's a bargain price, Brent. Again, in studio with us, Brent Giddings of B Giddings Services, and the topic is, who do you call after you do it wrong yourself? And maybe that's you, because if somebody does a bathtub resurface themselves, they're going to get themselves in some trouble. Fair to say?
Absolutely. Surface preparation is everything when it comes to it. And usually that's where people will skimp on, you know, to save the time, they'll wash the tub and then dry it and then quick throw something on it. But you kind of have to break down that surface more than just that in order for it to stick.
And if it's a do-it-yourself project gone wrong, I'd imagine that actually ends up being a bit of your clientele. Not only a bathtub resurfacing, but you also said you do a large amount of interior painting. I'm the type of person that always likes to save a buck. And I'd imagine there's a lot of people out there that like to save a buck. And so you consider doing a project on your own, especially painting. Paint is somewhat inexpensive and it's just labor intensive, right?
Yeah.
And so you see people probably all the time, Brent, who paint their house, their interior walls, and then what?
Half the time the ceiling's painted partially, and there's paint all over the trim. There is value in hiring a professional to do your painting.
In fact, you said that you have a history in flipping houses. Just a couple of days ago, I closed on my first flip house, and in fact, even before you came into the studio this morning, you were at the flip house doing some work. Why in the world would I put my trust into you, Brent, to say I need you to paint this house? Why would I not do it myself?
Well, for an easy one is if you're going to be selling that house, you're going to want it to look like a professional painted it. And a lot of times I'm not saying that you couldn't paint a nice straight line, but a lot of times people see that when they're walking in. As a painter, my eyes always drift to the ceiling, and I usually can tell if it was a homeowner job or a professional.
Yeah. Brent, it seems as though interior paint is one of those things that can change the feel of a room and change the feel of a house instantly. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you and they want to have their interior painted, even if they want to see what it's going to cost, because I think we can't even give a bid over the air, because if so, each room is different, and so it's difficult to do. Free estimates, right?
Absolutely.
So how can somebody talk to you about either getting their bathtub resurfaced or getting their interior or even exterior painted?
I would say give me a call on my cell phone, which is 701-306-5383.
Now, Brent, I've had you on air a number of times, and no joke, about every couple of weeks I get a call from somebody saying, who was that guy? The guy who does the bathtubs or the guy who does the painting. Because you should be the #1 person in demand in Fargo for your skills, because not only are you reasonably priced and absolutely trustworthy, but your work is second to none. So thank you for taking great care of our listeners.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
You got it. Now stick around, everybody. We're going to have a lot more coming up here after the break. But in the meantime, head to livefargomoorhead.com and find out what your home is worth. This is Real Estate Radio with Erik Hatch. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio. As always, I'm your host, Erik Hatch, and it's time now for the Erik Hatch team's Picks of the Week here on Real Estate Radio. I have some deals you need to know about so that if you're ever in the market, whether it's today or tomorrow or the next few weeks, or you even have that coworker or friend that keeps talking about real estate, these are the houses that they need to jump on. This first one in North Fargo is incredible. 2810 2nd Street North in the highly desired Longfellow neighborhood. We just reduced the price. $299,900 gets you an absurd amount of house. This 4-level split has 3 bedrooms, and the reason why it's just 3 bedrooms is the entire upper level is a master suite. This is your domain. This is your oasis that you can go to. The best, bar none, bedroom, bathroom, closet I've seen in this price range in any house in town. So if you want a master oasis, you need to check out this house in North Fargo. Again, go to livefargomoorhead.com to take a look or to schedule a showing. Now, I have that issue that I hear from people all the time, that they're interested in new construction, but they don't want to deal with the hassle. They don't want to put in the yard. They don't want to get blinds and curtains and window treatments. They're afraid of those costs running up. And so I have a house for you, brand new as of last year, 3577 50th Street South. It's right by the Shields Arena, just south a couple of blocks. This is a center of town neighborhood, and for $385,000, you get 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 3 garage stalls, no rear neighbors, and a huge lot. This is a house, again, that was just newly built. The owner needs to get out of there, and so I think you need to get in there. Finally, if you do want new construction, you don't want to deal with other people's mess or hassle, and you want to put your perfect touch on it, I have just the house for you. 4264 Ponderosa Place South, built by RCH Custom Homes for $369,900. This 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom, oversized 3-stall garage house with no rear neighbors seems to be the theme here, but these are great houses you don't want to miss out on. This house has upgraded flooring like you wouldn't believe, a beautiful open concept, and a family room of your dreams down in the basement. Really, everything you'd look for. So I want you to go and see these houses in person, and the easiest way for you to do so is to go to livefargomoorhead.com or to call us for your own personal showing at 369-4839. All right, friends, it is summer right now, and as we all know, seasons seem to get past us really quickly. Before we blink, before we know it, it's going to be fall, and each season brings to us a different way to sell a house. Now, the old adage always holds true that you want a house that's beautiful, you want a house that's well maintained inside and out, but there's always a couple of tricks that we can use to sell a house in a certain season. First of all, June, where we're at right now, is traditionally the busiest month for real estate. So you are in the eye of the storm right now. If you want to jump on board, even though I said that we're seeing a little bit of a balancing in the market, traditionally June is, according to some studies I've looked at on Forbes, it's the busiest month of the year for real estate, for closings. So that means right now the opportune time exists, and what we need to do is we need to figure out exactly how to get you into the right house, or more importantly, how to sell the house that you're currently in. The first thing we need to do is we need to push the inside out. If ever were a time to feature a house that has a wonderful outdoor space, is now. You want to highlight it with beautiful shrubs and flowers. You want your furniture to really pop. You want people to imagine sitting by the bonfire or the pool or whatever it is you have in the backyard and enhance that area. Selling in summer means you're going to want to sell the summer months. Just like in the winter, you're going to need to sell the winter months and show more of the beauty on the inside. But please don't hear me wrong. Inside and out always need to be pristine, but the more you can focus on the area of the season, the better you're going to be. Inside, once people step indoors, please have your air conditioner on, and in fact, you're going to want it set to something probably 68, 69, or 70 degrees. People want to be comfortable and even a little bit chilled in your house. The reason why is if it's blustering outside in terms of heat and sweat and awkwardness, well, I get sweaty and awkward, so I'd imagine there's some other people out there that are probably experiencing the same. When you step inside, you want it to be refreshing. You wouldn't believe the dynamics that brings when somebody can step inside and all of a sudden they feel better. They're going to associate feeling better with your house, and that means they're going to have a more likelihood to move on it. Finally, don't forget to maybe leave out some summer treats. A delightful thing I've seen some people do is to actually leave out some lemonade and some cookies. Think in the winter months you maybe want to have hot cocoa or coffee. This is now about summer. Gosh, I wouldn't make mojitos unless I'm coming over. That sounds delightful. But otherwise, you're going to want something refreshing, and then you leave a nice note with it saying, "Thanks for coming to our house. I hope you enjoy a nice treat as you look around." So those summer tips and a whole lot more are available for you, and so we need to talk about these. 369-4839 or head to livefargomoorhead.com to find out a few extra tips that I didn't share on air. Holy cow, where has the morning gone? We are almost out of time, and so before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a couple thoughts. The first is this, I would love to interview to earn your business. If you're thinking about buying or selling, you have a huge choice to make. And in fact, I'd encourage you to probably talk to a number of people to find out who's going to be the best fit for you. That may sound strange, that may sound weird as somebody who's obviously passionate about what they do, to tell you to talk to somebody else as well. But I'm so confident in what my team and I can bring to give you the best possible experience. I think our marketing and our advertising and our servicing will be second to none on anyone else in the market. So I'd encourage you to reach out, because maybe we're not going to be the right fit for what you're looking for, but I'd rather you get the best possible experience. I simply am really confident in what we're doing and how we're doing it, so I think we need to talk. Give us the chance to interview to earn your business. The final thing I want to share with you is this. We obviously have a number of times that we can talk together when we're on air. I get to talk to you, but I don't get to hear from you. So as soon as this shows up, I want you to reach out and call me. I want to hear about your concerns, your thoughts, your worries, your questions, anything that surrounds real estate. Reach out to us at 701-369-4839. I want it to be an interactive relationship that we have, and there's probably a question or something that you wanted to ask that you maybe haven't yet. So if you reach out to us, if you ask a question, and if I come back on air to address that question, I'll even send you a gift card. I want to be interactive with you. I want to grow in a relationship with you. And heck, I'd love to earn your business given the chance. So the way, again, you reach out to us is 701-369-4839 or go to livefargomoorhead.com. And thanks so very much for listening to Real Estate Radio this morning. I've been your host, Erik Hatch on the Mighty 790 KFGO.